We're in a very mature, tree-lined neighborhood with gigantic trees. It's Cleveland Park. We're in a house that's kind of time warped. It would have been a super cool house in the 70s or early 80s. It has a upper deck. We're essentially, I think, on the third floor. Apparently it's not safe to go out on this deck. This appears to be a converted attic, but converted with some actual structural changes. So this is now a master bedroom, what I think used to be an attic, and this piece seems to still have wall unit air conditioning. Cleveland Park is the neighborhood that the National Cathedral's on the edge of. The National Zoo is on a different edge of it. Just south is Observatory Circle, which is where the Vice President's house is. All around us live sort of political class journalists like Nina Totenberg and Dana Milbank and Cokie Roberts. At least they have lived in these areas, and some of them may have moved. As you can see, this has a somewhat time-warped bathroom, and it has this very interesting deep one-person sit-down tub in a little mirrored alcove, and it has this really old, uncared for bathroom. And then there's a little sitting room here. Big skylight, which was definitely added later. This house is $1 million listing, and then it's $995,000. You could easily spend $100,000 or $200,000 on it renovating it. Although these old hardwood floors might be salvageable, and they may be what's under the carpet. And if the carpet's been down here all this time, they may be very well protected. This is the front upper bedroom. And this is the kind of Leave It to Beaver Street that all the wealthier liberal Democrats, which is who mainly lives here, aim for in D.C. when they can afford $1 million or $2 million. I know a Hillary staffer who became an Obama political appointee of the State Department who actually bought her house here. Oh, probably in the late 90s. She only paid $325,000 for it. It's at least as nice a house as this, but she bought it from her landlord who underpriced it, and it was a long time ago. Anyway, I was wrong. That wasn't the third floor. That was just the second floor. There are 3 floors. This is another kitchen in the basement house, which normally only happens with older houses back from days when they were servants. But there are reasons why it happened here. So here we have the living room. And on this floor there's a living room. And there is a time-warped powder room with a grass paper wall and an antique color scheme. And what I'm sure used to be stairs to the basement has just been turned into a closet under the stairs. There's a different way to get to the basement. The basement's been opened up into more a regular part of the house. Here's what would have been the dining room in olden days. And what's happened is the back first floor and basement of the house, which are level with the ground on the back side of the house, have been opened up into this atrium ceilinged room with giant glass wall, so many windows it's practically a glass wall, which is why I said this would have been super cool in the late 70s or 80s and could be super cool again. As you can see, there's a deck, patio area, and there's a one-car garage. And then we have this anachronistic blue carpet, which looks like it's seen the grime of many little feet, possibly both animal and human. There's a side door there. Here's the kitchen. Some of the kitchen appliances are new. They might have actually been put in even in the mid-90s. Here's a little seating area where they have a couch that looks like it was removed from a vintage car, but I don't know if it actually was. Anyway, here's our little kitchen, which does have windows. In fact, it has windows onto the steps from the front yard to the backyard. So if you had children who were wandering about, you could see them going from one to the other. You can see that the cabinets are from the 70s or 80s. But this is really quite nice and quite dramatic. And it's a nice view. It's north, so it doesn't ever get any direct sunlight here out the back. And then down here, you have bonus rooms, because here you have the furnace and air conditioner, which I can tell you is cooling the bottom half of the house, but it's not set up right now to cool the top. Here's this kind of little study or guest bedroom, again with built-in shelves that you could rebuild in better. And there is another time-warped bathroom down here. I would actually try and say this towel, at least on the floor, for its vintage quality. Here's a big pantry, which is kind of far from the kitchen, but you could use it as some kind of closet or storage space. I might use it as a pantry for the kitchen, if I somehow bought huge amounts of food and stored it for long periods of time, canned goods. Anyway, that's our Cleveland Park fixer-upper. There may not be all that many fixer-uppers left in Cleveland Park. There may be sometimes houses for sale that you've just got lots of money and you would like to redo them, but an actual fixer-upper that is livable, but almost anybody who's going to buy it in Cleveland Park is going to want to pour some money into it. I don't think those come along all that much. And so here, what you have to count up are how many bathrooms to redo, how you'd redo the kitchen, pulling up carpet and refurbishing the hardwood floors. The bones of the house you might leave the way they are. And again, it's the kind of little Leave It to Beaver neighborhood that everybody wants to live in, I think, on a slightly grander street in a somewhat grander house than this. Christopher Buckley, the novelist, lives a couple blocks away. Anyway, it is a nice room, and you do get a fireplace.